Good afternoon. I'm Jess De Los Santos. This is One News Now. Some crematorium facilities in Metro Manila have been receiving an overwhelming number of remains in the past few weeks. Romel Lopez is joining us live from Manila for the details. Romel, can we attribute this to the recent increase in COVID-19 deaths?
That suggests crematoriums are experiencing the effects of rising COVID-19 and deaths these past weeks. In Pasay City alone, they had with the workload. Pasay Crematorium Administrator Laura Leonin says more and more remains there in the area since the second week of March. 60% of these died of COVID-19. Leonin noted that the facility is also catering clients as far as Manila and Quezon City, both of which have been seeing a spike in COVID-19 infections. In March alone, the facility in Pasay cremated 405 cadavers, a far cry from the 45 and 60 cremations in January and February, respectively. Leonin said that they now made an average of 32 bodies per day from the usual 8. The facility has also extended its operation hours to until 2 to 4 in the morning just to keep up with the load. The Pasay City government vowed to accommodate all cremations they could handle. Just the Pasay City government notes that all personnel under cremation service have been vaccinated against COVID-19 to ensure their safety. Aside from Pasay, the city of Manila is also seeing a spike in the number of their cremations recently. Jess?
All right. Thank you for those updates. Romel Lopez reporting live from Manila. The Health Department maintains that Sinovac's COVID-19 vaccine has not been cleared for use on senior citizens unless the Food and Drug Administration says otherwise. In a virtual presser, Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere explained that the emergency use of CoronaVac has been approved for those aged 18 to 59 only. But in today's Laging Handa briefing, Nina Gloriani, vaccine experts panel head, confirmed that they have recommended the jab for the elderly. Gloriani noted that only a few seniors participated in trials abroad and the side effects range from mild to moderate, such as headache. She said FDA Director General Eric Domingo has started consolidating relevant data and is set to respond to their recommendations soon.
Nothing is official because these are just recommendations. We wait for FDA. FDA will be the authorized government unit to give us the right information.
General Trias City Police Chief Marlo Solero has been relieved from his post for allegedly allowing personnel to enforce strenuous exercise among quarantine violators. Now let's talk more about this with PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Ildebrandi Usana. He's joining us over the phone. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Okay, yes, sir. First up, what was the basis for the relief here? Have you reached any conclusion in your investigation?
Well, administrative relief following the separate investigation that was being handled by the Provincial Director of the DPPO, Police Colonel Marlon Santos, who went straight to General Trias just to validate the information from the people in the know, particularly those ECQ violators. And accordingly, 2 of these violators executed sworn affidavits stating, among others, that indeed physical exercises were imposed upon them during the time when Mr. Darren also was one of those required to pass through that requirement, and then afterwards resulting in his death, so to speak.
Okay, given that, sir, what happens now to those personnel involved in the incident? What penalties should they be expecting?
Well, for now, we are placed under the custody of the provincial director pending the result of the investigation. Of course, just to clear this out, so far as the physical exercises are concerned, we consider these as not bad. We just have to strike the balance insofar as what particular or who actually among those physical violators have been required to undergo this kind of requirement from the police officers themselves. There were 2 police officers actually who were relieved from their post because they were found to be involved in the imposition of the physical exercises. They didn't actually know that Mr. Darren Peña Redondo was afflicted with a medical problems at times, but having had to require those people to take some physical exercises may not be considered as bad on itself.
Okay, now, but this is not the first time that we've heard of such stories. I mean, this has been reported in the past. It's just that this one is so far one of the most, at least one of the widely covered cases. How do we ensure that this won't happen again, sir?
Well, just have to require our police officers to just be professional. If there are violations, they just have to maybe warn the violators or issue a citation ticket, because if the recipient himself wanted that there must be no arrest made. Although the 8 violators, to include Mr. Darren, actually were referred by the barangay officials to the police. They were not actually arrested by police officers, and so one thing led to another.
But just to be clear here, sir, what are the guidelines here when it comes to creating punishment here for violators? Are police officers actually allowed to require violators to perform physical exercises?
Well, everything must be based on the ordinances that are being imposed in each of the local government units, because it is the LGUs that are responsible for the issuance of the ordinances, and these are just being enforced by our police officers. Now, if physical exercises are made part of them among all the other, particular provisions under the ordinances, aside from fines, maybe they could also have the what we call community service. But if the physical exercises are not part of those, then definitely the police officers are already doing what is not included in the provisions of the ordinance.
Okay, sir, do I take it to mean that there at least are no plans for the national government or LGUs even to come up with a clear-cut guidelines or an umbrella policy when it comes to enforcing, or at least when it comes to enforcing punishment on violators or sanctioning violators?
Well, with regard to RA 11332, there are no specific provisions as regards penalizing any of violators within the context of the ECQ implementation. For now, we just consider the violations on minimum health standards, like not wearing face masks, face shields, and faces for law enforcers to perhaps put into place the ordinances being imposed by the local government unit, because that is the basis of maybe enforcing RA 11332, that the LGUs must be responsible to perhaps imposing appropriate sanctions over the violators themselves. So that will be across the different local government units, depending, of course, on their appreciation of how violations are to be placed under the ordinances.
Okay, at least that responsibility lies on the local governments. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Eldebrandi Usana. Now, here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. The Integrated Bar of the Philippines wants lawyers to be included in the vaccine priority list. IBP President Domingo Cayosa has asked NTF Chairman Delfin Lorenzana to list lawyers under the A4 or frontline personnel category. Rights watchdog Amnesty International flags the human rights violations brought about by the government's, quote, harsh quarantine measures. In its latest report, the group cited President Duterte's order to shoot quarantine violators dead during the early days of the lockdown. And former Senator Manny Villar is still the richest Filipino for the third year. That's according to Forbes. The business tycoon saw his net worth grow to $7.2 billion despite the negative economic effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Second on the list is sports and casino tycoon Enrique Razon Jr., followed by Lucio Tan, whose fortunes also ballooned to $3.3 billion despite taking a huge hit from his loss-making Philippine Airlines. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Jess De Los Santos. We are One News.